Aston Villa, they are back in Europe after Unai Emery come in midway through the season when they were looking like they were going to be relegated. He came in, he saved them and got them all the way in to 7th place, which means next season we are going to be in the Europa Conference League. They've made some fantastic signings this summer already with Moussa Diaby, Pau Torres and the free transfer of Youri Tielemans. They're a club that have won the Champions League way back in the 80s. They've won 7 Premier League titles, 7 FA Cups and 5 Carabao Cups, and it's time to get them back to the big time, winning trophies left, right and centre. The mighty Villatonians, let's get you back to the top. Today we're going to be using a 4-2-3-1, an underdog 4-2-3-1 that was released on the Sortitoutsi website. So if you want to see a breakdown of that one, link is in the description. The tactic is unbelievable, and as you can see from the team, there's a very special man here at left wing, recently signed for Aston Villa from Bayern Leverkusen, has been fantastic in pre-season already, and Moussa Diaby is surely going to rip up the Premier League in real life. 25 years of age, outrageous pace, dribbling, finishing, crossing. He is fantastic in real life, and my 2 favourite things, he's consistent and he loves a big match. You know how much I love that one. Unai Emery has also brought in centre-back from Villarreal, Pau Torres, from his work lifting the Europa League last season. Pau Torres is now going to be at Aston Villa, and by last season I mean 2 years ago. Obviously they didn't win it last year. Pau Torres has been fantastic with Villarreal for the last couple of years, linked with teams like Manchester City, Manchester United. He's ended up here at Aston Villa underneath old faithful Unai Emery, and I think he's going to be fantastic for them as well. And a free transfer, an absolute coup of a signing in my opinion, is Youri Tielemans. Last season, not the greatest year for him or for Leicester overall as they got relegated, but I think this season we're going to see much more of the 21-22 Tielemans, a fantastic deep line playmaker who can also drive into the box and score some goals. I reckon him and Boubacar Kamara in midfield are going to be absolutely fantastic. There is obviously the man Jacob Ramsey as well in central attack midfielder, Aston Villa through and through. We're going to look to develop him throughout this save as well because he looks absolutely fantastic, and honestly I've not made any other signings because them 3 signings, when you put them into that team, are enough I believe to get European football back to back for Aston Villa. Now in terms of the club info, they've got some fantastic training facilities of 20, youth facilities of 18, 17 in youth recruitment, so we should hopefully get some brilliant players come through the academy. There's already some decent players here. Tim Oregano-Begum is one, Cameron Archer, there's a few decent players in the under 18s as well. We're going to look to bring through some absolute stars over the next years. Now sadly, because of the way the simming worked, we actually aren't in Europe this season. I didn't realise that until this second, so that's great fun. So sadly we're not going to be in Europe because the save is buggered up, but you know, we'll move on anyway. We're going to have to get back into Europe anyway, so we might as well go ahead and do it. The goal for this 5 years is to lift a second Champions League. They've done it back in 1982 and it's now time to go and lift it again. So let's get right into it. Aston Villa season number 1. Let's go and bring a trophy or 2 home, shall we? We start the season incredibly strong, and I bring you here today to a 4-1 victory against Arsenal. Tielemans finally on Bailey down the line to make it 1-0 early on to the Villatonians. Second goal is going to come from Carlos and Kamara, some link up. Diaby with a fantastic ball over the top to Ollie Watkins, who have not even mentioned, had a fantastic season last season in the Premier League and is hopefully going to be fantastic for us for the next 5 years. We've got the ball here for Tielemans again. Buendia, ball over the top. And that man, Ollie Watkins, scores again. Arsenal are going to get a goal back. Trossard down the left-hand side. He's going to cut in. Going to beat a man or two. Going to blast it into the bottom corner for 3-1. But we weren't done yet. And Ollie Watkins was not done either. This man wanted his hat-trick. And Alex Moreno, a ball in the line to Moussa Diaby, found Ollie Watkins. And we demolished the team last season who pushed Man City all the way to the 2nd place in the Premier League. Demolished them 4-1, a hat-trick from Ollie Watkins, 49% possession, dominated them on shots and were absolutely fantastic in that game, and it put us in such a fantastic position for top 4. And another team we ended up battling for top 4 was Chelsea, and we've got a game here we won 3-2 at Stamford Bridge. Ziyech finding Lukaku, bursting through into goal and does open the scoring, but the Villatonians were not ready to give up that easy. Buendia with a ball into the box, Watkins with a header at the front post, he makes it 1-1. Kamara to Tyrone Mings, played at left back, Jacob Ramsey in the hole, a fantastic reverse pass through to Ollie Watkins for 2-1. Chelsea are going to pick us back to 2-0. Lukaku with some great build-up play with Conor Gallagher. Ryan Reece James on the right-hand flank gets it into Ziyech, who blasts it home for 2-2. But of course, with the steal and the fight we have shown, we're going to get a third goal. And Kamara's going to whip it into Ezri Konsa, who makes it 3-2. And that means we beat Arsenal, we beat Chelsea, and we beat them both in the race for the top 4 in the Premier League. And we come third on 78 points, just 11 points behind Manchester City. 29 goals for this man, Ollie Watkins. A fantastic season. 33 goals and 2 assists over the whole season in 39 games. He is 29 years of age, but he is an outrageous footballer and is fantastic in front of goal. And I think FM really suits the way Ollie Watkins plays. Liverpool, 88 points, City and 89. So there were 2 obviously clear at the front, but we managed to pick Chelsea, Spurs, Arsenal, United, Newcastle, all of them to the post and finished third in this league. And in the Carabao Cup, we were knocked out in the 4th round by Manchester United, obviously the greatest team in the world, and the quarter-final in the FA Cup by Manchester City. The less said about them, the better. They're quite good, I think, aren't they? But a fantastic season this season. Overall, the team was absolutely brilliant. 14 goals and 13 assists in his first ever season in the Premier League, and that is Moussa Diaby. He has just had a lower back stress, which is a little bit unfortunate, but he is absolutely fantastic. A 4.5-star player. He's absolutely brilliant, and I genuinely cannot believe Aston Villa have got him in real life. I think the pull of Villa and sort of the setup they've got there is actually outrageously good, and it's a very exciting time to be an Aston Villa fan. So congratulations to you lot. You've been through some rough times, and it's now going to get fantastic. The man who he actually kept out of his team in Bayer Leverkusen, Leon Bailey, joined Aston Villa a couple of years ago. His old mate Moussa Diaby is back to keep him out of the team, but with 10 goals and 11 assists, he is certainly going to be trying to keep his spot in this side. Felipe Coutinho, 6 goals, 7 assists. Jean Durand, 4 goals and 2 assists. And Emi Buendia was fantastic in this formation. Now, I did make a 4-4-2 Unai Emery tactic with false 9, Buendia, and advanced forward Ollie Watkins. And Buendia in this sort of centre attacking midfielder role with 3 goals and 13 assists is a fantastic season here. Great dribbling, great flair, determination, technique, good pace. We know how good he is. And that man, Jacob Ramsey, just the 1 goal and 4 assists this season. Not too many starts, to be honest. Just 6 starts, 20 off the bench. We're going to try and get him some more game time as we go through. In the transfers, we've got £55 million to spend. The board are going to give us some sweet cash after securing Champions League football. Finances are looking good, and in the under-18s in terms of development, our first youth intake has come through, and we've had an absolute superstar come through already. Noel Ellis with 20 determination, 19 flair, great pace, great finishing, dribbling and first touch. Already, this guy looks fantastic. 16 goals and 7 assists in 19 non-competitive games. A value of 30 to 53 million. At the age of 15, we might have an absolute wonder kid on our hands, so we'll keep an eye on how Noel Ellis produces over the next couple of years. Let's get right into making some signings. There's a few players here we're going to look to probably move on from. Maybe Diego Carlos at the back, maybe a backup striker rather than John Duran, maybe a really good central attacking midfielder as well. So let's get right into things for Season 1's transfers. Let's make some serious deals. Well, I said we're going to make in some big transfers for season number 2, and this is one that I did not think was going to happen. Chelsea are in dire need of a brand new goalkeeper, and they decided Emiliano Martinez was going to be that man. An offer of £42.5 million come in the door, and I said yes, and I think that's decent money. 32 years of age, he's a fantastic goalkeeper, but for that sort of money at 32 years of age, there's certainly other goalkeepers out there I would like to go and get. And the man who brought in to replace him is Justin Bijlow from Feyenoord. £27.5 million with add-ons we ended up paying for him. Fantastic goalkeeper, great at distribution, great goalkeeper in terms of saving as well. Very consistent, loves a big match. My 2 favourite things. And to be honest, I think it's a very sideways move, but we've made £20 million and we've got a goalkeeper 5 years younger, and I'm very happy with that signing. I mentioned a backup striker was going to be needed this year as well, and Arnold Colimendo is the man I've gone and brought in from Rennes. He was an absolute bargain at just £27.5 million. Scored 12 goals in 30 games last season in League 1, and his stats are outrageously good. 16 off the ball, 16 acceleration, great finishing, dribbling, work rate, passing, technique. He really could be a man that takes over from Ollie Watkins, and guess what? He's consistent and he loves a big match, and I'm very happy to get in Calimendo to be our backup striker. Cole Palmer has also joined the club. £19.5 million from Manchester City last season. Didn't get too much game time at all. 3 games starting, 11 off the bench. Has forced his way out of Manchester City, and he's now here at Aston Villa. I think it's That's a very, very good signing. 23 years of age. You've recently seen how good he was in the under-21s World Cup, and hopefully he can come in here at City and be a fantastic rotation between him and Jacob Ramsey. That central attack midfield spot is very, very exciting. I think you will agree, and that was just a mere fee of £19.5 million. Diego Calai hasn't brought in as the backup to Justin Bilo. 2-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, a backup goalkeeper for £8.5 million. Not sure we'll see too much of him, but if he does progress, that'll be absolutely fantastic. And an unbelievable signing as well. Alex Moreno is going to drop to our backup left back. Luca Digne has left the club. This guy is extremely consistent. He loves big matches. His name is Owen Windaw. Just £23 million from Ajax after moving from AZ Alkmaar early in his career. A fantastic left back. Very brave, great pace, great dribbling, great crossing. And I think them 6 signings are superb for the squad. Now, obviously, we're in Champions League football next year. We've got the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, the Premier League, and I think we have massively developed the squad to be, honestly, absolutely brilliant. I think this is sort of our best sort of 11. Bilo in goal, Cash, Carlos, Torres, and Windaw as the back 5. Tielemans and Kamara in midfield, still Diaby on the left, Bailey on the right with Buendia in cam. Now the backups, you've got Calai, Chambers, Konsa, Mings, Moreno, Douglas Luiz, Tim Orenego Begum, Cole Palmer, Jacob Ramsey, Alan Velasco and Kulimendi. Now I haven't mentioned Velasco. Great potential in him, 16 dribbling, great pace, decisions, composure, first touch. Shouldn't be consistent, loves a big match. 3-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, and there's another great signing for that wing spot. So we've now got Bailey, Diaby, Palmer and Velasco for them wing spots, Ramsey and Buendia as the 2 cams, Watkins and Calimendo as the 2 strikers. And I think we've actually built a squad which is going to absolutely, you know, we are set for the next 3 or 4 years, and I think we could genuinely challenge for the Premier League in the next 2 to 3 seasons, maybe even lift in a few cups along the way as well. So let's get right into it. Season number 2. Want to get back-to-back Champions League qualification and maybe lift a little FA Cup or Carabao Cup. Season 2, Aston Villa. Let's get right into it. Well, I mentioned we signed a striker to be a backup to Ollie Watkins, and that man was Arnaud Kulimendo. What I didn't know is he was going to come in and score 40 goals and get 3 assists and dispossess Ollie Watkins of that starting number 9 spot in his first season, and he was absolutely fantastic. 28 goals in the Premier League alone and fired us all the way to the top 5. We got Champions League football yet again. Was absolutely dominant this season in our team. Ollie Watkins was still really good off the bench. 9 goals and 5 assists. Obviously 30 years of age. Maybe during the sim, the assistant manager decides to go the more youthful approach of Calimendo. Moussa Diaby, 20 goals and 10 assists is absolutely fantastic, and I'm buzzing with how he is progressing here at the club. He's already wanted by Newcastle and Atletico Madrid, but I'm going to do my absolute hardest to keep him here for the full time. Cole Palmer, 29 games off the bench, 7 goals, 2 assists and 5 starts. Emi Buendia, 8 and 7. Alan Velasco, 7 goals and 22 assists. Jacob Ramsey played much more games this season, 40 overall with 4 assists as well. Kamara and Tielemans, great in midfield, and the back line was extremely strong, and that shows in our data hub. 1.74 goals per game, and we were above average on goals conceded per game as well. And like I mentioned in the Premier League, we did manage to get back into Champions League football, coming 5th place here, managed to secure us it with the new Champions League phase, so it's exciting to be back there again. Calimendo, 2nd top goal scorer behind some Norwegian geezer who I don't think anyone has ever heard of in their life. Champions League as well, we did very well. We got all the way to the quarterfinals, so we lost 8-1 on aggregate, granted, to Real Madrid, but I'm very happy we got all the way to the quarters. I mean, very impressive that we did. And I mean, this game here at Villa Park, we actually dominated Real Madrid, but sadly didn't get the win. The midfield of Tchouameni, Camavinga and Bellingham did quite well. So not surprising to see Real Madrid did go all the way to the final, but ended up losing to Manchester City, I believe, which, you know, again, that Haaland guy is quite good. But FA Cup, we got 3rd rounded by Liverpool. A little bit frustrating in the Carabao Cup, quarter-final by Arsenal as well. So we seemed to be losing to the big clubs in them competitions. So it means we're being extremely consistent against teams around us. Just need to progress that a little bit further to beat the big boys. At the top 4 was Chelsea winning the league on 76, Arsenal on 2nd on 76, City on 3rd on 75, and Liverpool in 4th on 75. And we were the best of the rest on 66. But the fact the top 4 was decided by a point is quite simply outrageous. Man City got one more point that have won the league on goal difference, and the same for Liverpool as well. Both of them absolutely storming past Chelsea and Arsenal. This season we've got another £50 million spend, which is brilliant. £300,000 in wage budget as well. So we'll have to see what we can do in terms of our money. And again, in terms of the youth facilities here at the club, the under-18s, we've had a few more 5-star potential come through. We've got Mohamed Kolosha, who is a midfielder, Egyptian, and he can play anywhere down the middle. Centre-back, centre-mid, striker, whatever you want, he'll do it. He just loves playing football. 18 determination, 14 finishing, 14 dribbling. He's got 8 marking, 13 tackling, and also 9 heading, so he can actually do a job at centre-half as well. And in terms of his ball playing ability, just a 7 on passing. So maybe he's a centre-back or a striker, yet to decide. Mohamed Kolosha, keep an eye on this guy. And Noel Ellis has progressed very, very well. Obviously, with 20 determination, he is going to be absolutely fantastic. So we'll keep an eye on him. Season 3's transfers, £50 million to spend. There's a few players that are aging just a little bit and need to maybe be replaced. If we look at the sort of average age of the squad, we've got Coutinho, Mings, Carlos Moreno, Chambers and Watkins all above the age of 30. So some youngsters to maybe bring in and get some new youthful talent into this side for season number 3. That's exactly what we've gone ahead and done, and brought in Nathan Patterson from Everton, a fantastic right back to replace Matty Cash. £38 million was the fee. Everton, obviously in the Premier League, a very decent side, and we have gone ahead and pipped their star boy. Nathan Patterson, fantastic pace, great acceleration, stamina is really key on him as well. Consistent, loves a big match, great crossing, great dribbling, decent defending as well, and is certainly going to progress into being one of the best right backs in the world. Already a value of £67 million for Nathan Patterson, so very happy to get that signing over the line. Alberto Moliero is a signing that has been to Burnley in our saves, so he loves playing in claret and blue, but he starts off at Las Palmas, and we've brought him in for £20 million, and I think you'll agree this guy is absolutely outrageous. 17 dribbling, 16 first touch, 16 passing, 17 technique, 17 off the ball, 17 vision, 16 flair, 16 agility, and it reminds me of a very young David Silva. So David Silva just retired. This is his regen, Alberto Moliero. Go and find him in your saves because he is absolutely fantastic, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do here at Aston Villa over the next few years. Ousmane Diomande is the next signing, £37 million, a release clause from Sporting, 22 years of age, a fantastic centre-half, and again I think it's quite a realistic step from him coming from Sporting to come to the mighty club of Aston Villa. After back-to-back seasons in the Champions League, we are starting to be able to pull players from their clubs, which is very, very exciting. Some great stats in him as well. I mean, everyone knows this guy. He's outrageously good, and guess what? His value is already £87 million, and guess what? He's a consistent. He likes the big match. There's a bit of a theme here with the best players in this game. They all seem to have the same thing in common. And you can see that was our 3 only signings, as well as Calimundo and Bijlow in the last season. Douglas Luiz has left the club to go to Brentford for £40 million. A really good player, but over the last 2 years has been a sort of bit part player for us, making most of his appearances off the bench in both seasons. So we'll have to see what he can go and do over at Brentford. And speaking of moving to Brentford, Leon Bailey also got his move, because last season he didn't play quite as many games, just 4 starts, 19 off the bench, £12 million. Happy to get that one over the line. Hopefully he can go and do some bits. I mean, Diaby replaced him in real life a few years ago at Leverkusen. He's done the exact same thing here at Aston Villa. I mean, the team is looking absolutely brilliant. Diaby and Villasco on the wings, Ramsey in cam, Calimundo as a starting striker with Kamara and Tielemans in midfield, Patterson at right back, Diomande, Torres and Windal as the back four, with Justin Bijlow in goal. The backups are Calais, Cash, Cardos, Konsa, Moreno, Origabegum, Palmer, Ellis, the 16-year-old is now in the first team, Buendia, Moliero and Ollie Watkins. What an unbelievable sign. I've got a few of the good wonder kids here as well, and I'm looking forward to seeing if Noel Ellis, now he's in the first team at 17 years of age, gets any starts and what he can do. So, I mean, we might as well go into it, mightn't we? Season number 3. We need to lift a few trophies before we leave this off. So an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup, maybe a little bit too early for a Champions League or a Premier League. Who knows? Let's go into it. Season 3, let's lift some silverware. And lift some trophies is exactly what we are here to do. A 2-0 victory against Brentford in the FA Cup final, who signed Douglas Luiz and Leon Bailey from us. Well, they couldn't keep Ollie Watkins from scoring a brace in an FA Cup final here at Wembley and lifting Villa's first trophy in many, many years. We absolutely dominated this game with 24 shots, 9 on target at 2.43 XG and 49% possession against Brentford, who are a very, very good side, but had nothing on the mighty Aston Villa. The Premier League, again, went very similar to last season, finishing in 5th place, 69 points, so I think a minor improvement on last season, and very happy because Liverpool, Chelsea, City, Spurs, we are the best of the rest still. We're keeping Arsenal and United out of any European competition, well, the main one anyway, the Champions League, and one man that is certainly helping us get there is a little Argentinian called Alan Velasco. Now 17 goals and 13 assists is absolutely fantastic, and like I mentioned, signed for just £7 million from FC Dallas, is an absolute baller, extremely consistent, loves a big match. 16 dribbling, 16 composure, 16 acceleration, 16 pace, 16 off the ball, 17 vision, and is an outrageous player, and you know, one of the best players in this side, and someone who's had an absolute revival in season number 3 is Ollie Watkins. He wasn't happy last season being the backup to Calimundo, so he come in this season with a chip on his shoulder, scored 26 goals and 7 assists, and managed to outscore Calimundo in the league. Calimundo 24 goals and 2 assists. They pretty much played half and half in the game, so very happy with them two sharing that front spot, and it's sort of the plan when I brought Calimundo in was for that to happen. Extremely consistent, loves a big match, great player, 16 finishing. Very happy with the signing of him. Moussa Diaby this season, got 12 goals and 15 assists. Aston Villa fans, this should be making you very, very excited for the upcoming season of Moussa Diaby, because your team is actually absolutely fantastic. I mean, the team we've built as well is obviously absolutely brilliant. A few, you know, signings in there that haven't been made in real life. Bijlow, Patterson, Diamande, Windale helping that backline massively. The two midfielders of Kamara and Tielemans are absolutely brilliant, and I think they really do add. You know, I think Tielemans adds a lot to that midfield rather than John McGinn, who, don't get me wrong, is a fantastic player and went quite early doors in RE, but I think Tielemans adds that little bit of quality in midfield next to a destroyer of Boubacar Kamara. Diaby and Velasco on the wings, Jacob Ramsey in Cam had a very good season this season as well. 7 goals and 3 assists in 50 appearances overall, so he is now getting quite a lot of game time and becoming a bit of a Villa cult hero, so happy to get him in. Noel Ellis, how did he do in season 1? Well, he played 1 start and come off the bench once, but you know, progressing well, and it's sort of to be expected. He is just 17 years of age. He's still got that 5-star potential, so very happy that he's now made his debut for the club. He is still only 17 as well. He's wanted by 17 clubs on loan because he's that good. So we'll see, maybe season 4 Noel Ellis will go out on loan. We've got a lot of money to spend, £68 million. I'm not sure if I mentioned Champions League. We've got a quarter-finaled by Chelsea, went on to win it. Just a 3-1 loss, so not getting battered there is quite nice. And the Carabao Cup, we got 3rd rounded by Reading, which is a little bit frustrating. And going on to win the Carabao Cup was Norwich, the Canaries. What the hell? A bit of a weird season with us winning the FA Cup, then winning the Carabao Cup, Liverpool winning the Premier League. 3 teams you probably wouldn't expect to start lifting trophies. But season number 4, like I said, £70 million to go and spend. In terms of the younger, the wonder kids we've got, Mohamed Nader is a new one, Egyptian right winger. Again, Egyptians coming through here at Aston Villa. Mohamed Kalosha looks absolutely fantastic and is actually developing into the position I didn't think he was as a midfielder. 16 bravery, 17 determination, great stamina as well. Again, very good tackling and finishing. Maybe could be a jack of all trades. I've got no idea what he's going to turn into. But at 18 years of age, he's made 2 caps for Egypt already. So very excited to see what he can go on and do. And a few 4-star players as well in the club. So great to see we're developing the whole club, not just the first team. Season 4, we need to make some big transfers. We need more and more trophies. Just an FA Cup is not going to satisfy me. I want a European trophy. And at this point, it looks like it's going to have to be a Champions League. So let's go ahead and spend some moolah. Before I do get into the free signings of this summer, if you guys can make sure to just like the video, subscribe to the channel, and a massive thank you to the Patreons on screen as well. You are literally helping my dreams come true of making content, and you guys have no idea how thankful I am for you. This rebuild file is available in my Patreon link as well. So if Aston Villa fans or anyone a fan of football, if you want to pick up from where we leave this save, that file will be in the description, and it doesn't have to be the last save either. You can pick up from any of the season, any of the 5 seasons. Just let me know which one you want, and I'll send it over because I'm a nice guy. Now, number 1 signing is Warren Z. Zaire Emery, obviously a PSG wonder kid, signed for £32.5 million. Has played a few games here and there for PSG, but wants to come in and be a sort of very strong rotation option for Boubacar Kamara, and I think suits that really, really well. A fantastic talented player, 2.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. So very excited to see what Warren can do. And for just £32 million, I think as a very well-rounded midfielder, is a fantastic signing to bring in for Aston Villa. Juan Larios is our left-back signing to come in and battle with Owen Window. Now, this guy is absolutely brilliant. Again, come from the Manchester City Academy, moved to Southampton in real life, and he looks absolutely fantastic. Some outrageous pace, some great crossing and dribbling, and 23 years of age, signed for just £25 million. A great signing, and is hopefully going to go on to be the best left-back in the world. Now, Jeremy Murray is our first region signing, and for £2.5 million, I think you'll say is an absolute bloody bargain. I mean, this guy was playing in Peru, and he managed to come up in the scouts, and he's a little bit good. 16 tackling, 16 technique, and 16 work rate, 17 balance, 6'3", I think that is, 8 caps for Peru at 19 years of age, and he's probably going to go on to be one of the best centre-backs in footballing history. So very excited to see what Jeremy Murray can come in and do. He picked us over like PSG, etc. So excited to see what he can do. The club, again, the squad, Bilo, Patterson, Diamande, Torres, Window, Tielemans and Zaire Emery now in midfield with Diaby, Velasco, Ramsey and Kelly Mundo. The backups, again, looking very, very strong. A few players ended up leaving this season. Tyron Mings left for 3. Alex Moreno also the same. And Diego Carlos left for £2.5 million to Almira. So a few players leaving. A few of the older guys heading out as well. So I'll be excited to see this season as we have now sort of sorted out a little bit of an age crisis of a few now. Just 4 players over 30, and that's Tielemans, Pau Torres, Buendia and Watkins, 4 absolute bankers. And Noel Ellis, Murray, Zaire Emery and Kalai now providing under 23. So very happy to get a bit more youth into the side. We're in 5 competitions this season. We might as well go and tick off the Community Shield as well. It's only against Liverpool, so that should be fairly easy. A Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, Premier League. We can win a 5-tuple here, can't we? Well, I'll tell you what, the goal was to bring a Champions League back to Aston Villa for the first time since 1982, and that is exactly what we have done. The Champions League final against the team that knocked us out in the quarterfinals last season, Chelsea. Arnau Calimundo from the first season has been absolutely outrageous, and in this game he tore Chelsea apart. A Champions League final hat-trick, an absolute dominant display as well, and he doubled the amount of shots, doubled the XG, and Chelsea were just chasing shadows out there, and we have won the Champions League for the first time, like I said, since 1982. Feels good to see Villa back at the top. 3 years of English domination. Very happy to see that indeed. I mean, if we now go into the Villa history, I think I'm surely an absolute legend. Champions League 1982 and 2027. Villa fans, you haven't got too long to wait. Don't you worry about that. There's going to be one coming up very, very soon for you. Community Shield, sadly, we actually lost on penalties to Liverpool. So I don't know what happened there. We must have played the under-18s to lose to Liverpool. So a little bit frustrating, but you know, we move on. We did win the biggest trophy in world history. A Carabao Cup, we tried to win the second biggest, but lost to Arsenal in this one, sadly 4-1 on aggregate. And Arsenal won and got battered by Chelsea in the final as well. So I suppose we'll let Chelsea have that one, shall we? And the FA Cup as well. We were third rounded again by a crap side in Watford, a 1-0 loss. So a little bit frustrating, but doesn't matter. We won the Champions League, and the Premier League, I'm very glad we won the Champions League because we come all the way down in 7th place, 64 points, so very similar to what we have been putting up recently in terms of numbers, but other teams massively progressed. Chelsea, 90 points this season, and I mean, they also won the Premier League, so they were very close to doing a treble. United on 76, City 76, Liverpool 72, Arsenal and Newcastle on 65 and 64, and us on 64, Palace on 64, and West Ham in 9th as well on 55, also getting European football. No one in the Europa Conference. Oh, Norwich are in the Europa League. Have Norwich gone ahead and done it? They've won the Europa Conference League. Norwich have got Europa League football in the Championship. That's going to be good fun for them. In terms of the squad selection in first, we go to 34 goals and 3 assists for Calimundo this season. 17 and 17 for Moussa Diaby. He has been outrageously good. 14 and 7 for a 32-year-old Ollie Watkins. Very happy with that. And 13 and 13 for Velasco. 10 and 11 for Cole Palmer. 9 and 10 for Moniero. 7 and 9 for Buendia. 6 and 2 for Jacob Ramsey. We really are a very well-drilled squad. And after winning the Champions League, the board aren't done there. £103 million is what we've got to go and spend. The finances are looking extremely strong here at the club as well. And if we head again, looking at 5-star potential, Kyle Walsh is the latest one, the kid to come through the Aston Villa Academy. He looks fantastically good, doesn't he? And a few 4.5-star players in here. If I show you now, Noel Ellis, wherever he is looking very, very good. 1 game starting, 8 off the bench this season, a value of £73 million. Hopefully, this guy is still going to progress, and you guys are going to have fun picking this up in the Patreon if you do pick this up. He looks absolutely brilliant. So make sure you get the best out of Noel Ellis. I mean, season number 5, I guess we've sort of got to go and try and win the Premier League in this one. We've won the Champions League, we've won the FA Cup, we've won the Champions League, we need to win the Carabao Cup, Community Shield and Premier League to complete this rebuild. So season 5, let's get into it, see what we can spend this £103 million on. Well, I mentioned we're going to spend £103 million, and we've managed to double that to £200 million because Ousmane Diomande has left to Liverpool for £110 million, but basically 3 times the money we spent on him over 2 seasons. He's come here, he's lifted the Champions League trophy, and he's gone to Liverpool to see if he can help them do one, because they're in dire need of some improvement at the back with that guy Van Dijk. It's probably about 40 now, so 16 marking, tackling. He's off to Liverpool, to the pop. He's got a value of £255 million. I think you'll have to agree we had to sell him for that sort of money. I mean, that is absolutely outrageous. Another player that has left the club is Emi Buendia. Has gone to SC Bayern Munich for £27.5 million. 31 years of age, and there's actually some very good money for him. So happy to get that money in the door. And it gave us £184 million of spending. And signing one is Mohamed Kudus. After Buendia leaving, a backup cam is someone we want to bring in, and Kudus has been smashing it at Ajax over in the Eredivisie, so £41 million. We decided to bring him here to Aston Villa. 16 composure, great dribbling, finishing, first touch, great technique, great pace. We know how good this guy is in real life, and guess what? He's extremely consistent, but doesn't like big matches, so I've gone against the golden rule. Absolute shocker from me. Nico Seiwald is the next signing after a very successful career, moving to RB Leipzig, going to Borussia Dortmund. He is now here at Aston Villa. The little ginger centre midfielder is fantastic. This guy is extremely consistent and does love big matches, and is a massive improvement in the midfield. Probably from Yuri Tielemans, it would be Seiwald and Warren Zaire-Emery and Boubacar Kamara as the 3. I mean, and add Tielemans into that. That's 4 fantastic midfielders. So very happy with this signing for just the little fee of £60 million. I mean, we doubled what Dortmund paid for him, but I think he's a really big improvement in midfield, and great stamina, fitness, anticipation, first touch, passing. A great signing, if you ask me, is Nico Seiwald. Dennis Seaman has come in as another goalkeeper to now replace Justin Bijlo-Kalari. The Sporting geezer has left. He didn't end up to be anything, and Dennis Seaman always ends up being something. At 22 years of age, I think I've signed you guys the best goalkeeper in the world in the next 2 to 3 seasons. A fantastic goalkeeper. We know how good Dennis Seaman is, and for £30 million is an absolute no-brainer to bring in here at Villa. And the last signing I've made to replace Ousmane Diomande, who left for over £100 million, is Mark Guehi. Now, he has been absolutely smashing it at Crystal Palace, and is now going to come to a big club in the Premier League and absolutely smash it here as well. £53 million. Great defensively. Value of 70 million. Now got 10 caps for England as well. Some great strength, pace, fitness, great defender, and great anticipation. And he's a consistent player, and he loves a big match. Of course he does. And in terms of the squad now, we're looking at Seaman, Patterson, Guehi, Torres and Window. Now, Torres I haven't mentioned at all in this rebuild because he's just been ticking along very nicely, pretty much at a 6.8 to a 7 rating, playing pretty much every single game, being a fantastic centre-half as he is in real life. So Aston Villa, fantastic signing in Pau Torres. Seiwald and Tielemans are the 2 midfielders of Diaby, Velasco, Ramsey and Calimundo. Bijlo, Cash, Mori, Konsa, Larios, Kamara, Zaire-Emery, Kudus, Palmer and Moliero make up the team there. And there's a player missing, and that player is Ollie Watkins. Now, I actually didn't realise he left until after I finished season number 5. So we actually only had Calimundo. His contract ran out and I didn't notice it, which is absolutely infuriating. And I think he's going to go back. Well, he's going to go to Southampton as well. So we have only got 1 striker this season. So we might have sold ourselves down the river. We've got 5 trophies to go and win. The Carabao Cup, FA Cup, Super Cup, Champions League and Premier League. let's go ahead and see what we can do, shall we? Season 5, let's win some more trophies. Maybe even back-to-back Champions Leagues, eh? We're going to start things off. UEFA Super Cup. We're going to lift a massive trophy to start the season. Pau Torres scoring the first goal. Cole Palmer trying to find a Moliero. Going to battle for the ball and get it back for her second goal for him. And we're going to score a third from Cole Palmer, finding Velasco to the left-hand side. He's going to beat his man and put it in the bottom corner before Newcastle were going to come in and get a goal. But we lifted the UEFA Super Cup very early on in the season. A fantastic confidence builder for the rest of the season. We absolutely dominated this game as well. 20 shots, doubling their XG. And again, 49% possession seems to be a pretty big thing in this sort of save with Aston Villa. And winning trophies against Brentford is another thing that continues to happen. A 1-0 victory in the Carabao Cup final from Arnau Culimendo against Brentford. Very, very happy with that one. I mean, their team, you can see in the bottom left, is actually very good as well. A midfield of Højbjerg, Douglas Luiz and Gravenberch with a front three of Bacharina, Kangin Lee and Damsgaard. Brentford, fair play to you. Very exciting. If you want to see a Brentford rebuild, get that down in the comments below. But a 1-0 victory, very happy to lift another trophy, and that is 2 ticked off the list. The other 2 are the Community Shield, which we're not in this season, and the Premier League. So I don't know if we've won any of them, but there is a trophy that we won last season, which would be very nice to go back to back. I mean, 1982, 2027, 2028, another Champions League to add to the list, and this one is against Real Madrid. Velasco is going to do a hat-trick. Calimundo did it last season. It's time for Velasco to go ahead and do it. Camavinga to Wirtz to Edinburgh Town shows how good this Real Madrid squad is, but 2 goals just after half-time from that man. Kudus finding Velasco, who played down the middle in this game due to Calimundo's injury. Fantastic, fantastic player. Scalvini on the ball for Real Madrid. Dilly-dallying on the ball. Velasco's going to take it off him. He's going to put it in the bottom corner. And Aston Villa are back-to-back Champions League winners, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I did not think this would be happening at the start of this rebuild. So very happy with that one. 18 goals in the Champions League for Calimundo. 10 assists for Mohamed Kudus as well. In the Premier League, guess what? We've not won it. I mean, it would have been fantastic to say we won a quadruple, but that has not happened. We've come 6th and 64 points. So your guys' goal was definitely to make this team more consistent. I mean, looking at the data hub, it seems to be that we sort of go through little spells where we do absolutely outrageous and then not so good, absolutely outrageous and not so good. So you guys have got to come in and you've got to sort this schedule out, make it so win every single game, because we seem to win the big games, but maybe sometimes dropping some points through the season. 1.97 XG, 1.16 conceded per game. Very happy. And I mean, you guys will love playing with the squad. 49 goals for Calimundo, 20 goals, 18 assists from Moussa Diaby, who continues to get better and better. 15 goals and 4 assists for Noel Ellis, who was out on loan at Watford and now actually looks absolutely outrageous after a full season playing in the Championship. He looks ready for first team football. Mo Kudus with 15 and 17. Velasco 14 and 15. Alberto Morello 10 and 18. 5 goals, 10 assists for Kamara. 8 and 7 for Jacob Ramsey, who has been on the fringe of the team for the whole season, but 5 seasons consistently playing over 25 games. I'm sure he'll be very happy with that in real life. So very happy with this Aston Villa rebuild. We lifted an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup, 2 Champions Leagues and a UEFA Super Cup. You've got to go ahead and win the Champions League. That is down in the Patreon below. And if you've not seen it already, rebuilds have been flying out on this channel, including an Inter Milan one just the other day. So head down there and watch that one.